I contracted for a chair. The chair never came. There was a bunch of excuses. I wanted a refund. They wouldn't give me a refund. I went to American Express, and that's in progress right now as far as American Express actually taking care of avoiding the transaction, debiting the company, and crediting my account. So that's my hope and expectation is that's how it gets settled, and I hope that that happens for other consumers that are hitting a brick wall, for Never Neverland to come around for the chair or other products from Indiegogo. I don't know how I became aware of Indiegogo, like many other things. It just suddenly appears in your inbox one day, and there's some interesting aspects to it that sort of grabbed my attention. And one of them, it's a crowdfunding umbrella for a lot of entrepreneurs who are trying to get new products off the ground. So I was interested in that aspect, and then of course, if a product happened to come around as this one did, the one specifically we'll talk about in a minute, then I don't mind being on the ground floor in terms of investing in the product and also supporting an entrepreneur that likely could have a new and innovative product. And so that's how I became interested in Indiegogo as an entity. But again, they host a lot of different entrepreneurs under their umbrella. So they're the crowdfunding platform, if you will, for these other merchants. But it's important to note that they are the ones that collect the money. When you go to fund these various companies that you might have an interest in a product for underneath them or under that umbrella, your credit card payment goes to Indiegogo. Neutral, or however it is pronounced, was a company that caught my attention. My office in my home I've got the same office chair I think I bought 25 years ago in my home office, and I was ready to replace an office chair. So it's not too complicated. It's not a big deal. It was a company that purported to be making a very innovative office chair that had a lot of bells and whistles compared to the competition. That and the fact that I needed a new office chair caught my attention, and I went ahead and on September 21st of last year, 2021, I paid $329 through my American Express card to Indiegogo to buy one of Neutral's chairs. The other side of the bargain, because it really is a bargain, I mean, in terms of a bargain being two parties to a transaction, my part was to pay the $329. Their part was to deliver a chair for that $329 at a specific time frame. The time frame that was in question and advanced by them on their website was November of 2021, and so that was the original transaction. The problem was that November of 2021 came and went with very little in terms of information from Neutral. At this point, Indiegogo is sort of backed out of any kind of responsibility. Maybe we can touch on that in just a minute. But the Neutral is these companies, because I'd seen them before, and they offer updates in terms of letting their investors or their customers know exactly what's happening with the product. What I found to be very annoying about Neutral was not only were they missing the delivery dates, but their updates were bereft of any information that was specific to, concrete timetables of what was going on. Their updates were of the nature of, how good their products were, how innovative they were, not the fact that they'd missed the timetable and, really giving concrete examples. It's not that they didn't give any, but they were very non-specific in terms of what was going on in terms of the delivery of the product. Because there was a lot of people that were becoming increasingly irritated with them, they were finally forced to, during some updates, indicate they kept putting off the delivery. Then finally, they advanced dates like December. Then they advanced dates like January, and then the most recent update from Neutral, and this is symptomatic of the way this company operates. And this is what one one of my, I think, very legitimate gripes is the fact that instead of, they are now 5 months past the, they're now 4 months and counting past the original delivery expectation window. And what they furnished in the update was a pictorial tour of their factory in China, instead of offering any kind of information on, updates on when the product was going to be delivered. They did indicate that there were some, in their defense, they indicated there was some supply chain issues, and we're all used to those with the pandemic. There's been supply chain issues, but mainly with my gripe with the company was, I bargained for a chair in November, not March, April, May, or June of the following year, and they haven't delivered. My other gripe is the fact that they haven't been forthright in their updates in terms of representing concrete examples of when the product is going to actually arrive. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors with them, and it made me extremely, as it did a lot of other people. If you look on the reviews for them or comments from these updates, you have, as an investor, you have a chance to comment, and there's a lot of people that feel exactly like I do. It's like, hey, what is going on? This is absolute BS. We were promised these shares and we don't have them. The focus then, in terms of asking for a refund, I asked for a refund actually a couple of months ago because they missed the timetable. And they actually did not even address the refund thing. They went into a lot of detail about how good their chairs were, and they had some supply chain issues. They really didn't address the refund piece. And I went back to Indiegogo then at that point and said, I want a refund. I did contact Neutral first, and Neutral didn't offer. They didn't even address my request for a refund in their response. I've asked for a refund now on, I think, at least 2 occasions. I've asked for a refund, both from Neutral directly, and then not receiving really any response from them that was worth anything. I requested the refund through the umbrella, the hosting company, Indiegogo. So then going back to Indiegogo, what they did was punted it back to me and saying I was outside their refund request, that they only refund within. They have different time frames for some reason. I think I found on one site they had, or in one piece on them, the refund policy was for 5 days, another was 10 days, something like that. Well, the problem with that, of course, is that when you are investing on any of the products, or for any of the products that they're featuring under their umbrella, is they are always promised in the future. So they're never, so almost by definition, if you're going to be doing business with Indiegogo, they're really going to be off the hook by virtue of the fact that everything that you're investing in, or you might be interested in paying money for, is maybe 2-3 months down the road. So that automatically takes them off the hook, at least in their minds. And it also dissuades a lot of consumers from going deeper into pushing. Well, the situation right now is, fortunately, I put the transaction on my American Express card, and I've been doing business with American Express since 1985. So I've got quite a long history with American Express, and I've been, I carry zero balances, and I have now for 37 years. But whenever I've had a consumer issue or a product issue in terms of, well, first of all, they're good in terms of doubling the warranty with products that you buy. So that's one advantage. But the other advantage has been with situations like this, where a product breaks down quickly, goods or services are not delivered as they were promised, either by nature of timeliness or defectiveness, perhaps, of the product. By calling American Express, they actually they put that amount of money on hold. So they take it off of your bill temporarily. It's in suspense. And usually within 2 weeks, there's a disposition in the consumer's favor. At least that's the way it's always played out for me. Because every request, I don't try to abuse it. I just bring it up. In other words, if I have a problem with a goods or services or a merchant or something like that, at that point, I'll go to American Express. If I can't resolve it with that particular merchant, I always try the merchant first. So much as in this case with Indiegogo and Neutral, where I was hitting a stone wall with them, this was the only recourse, and it's a very viable consumer recourse to try to get, the transaction refunded or credited back to your card. And really, it's the only recourse that I've got as a consumer where the merchant is really trying to, sidestep any responsibility for the fact that, this is a contract where I paid money for a certain product to be delivered at a certain time and it wasn't delivered. You refund the money is what you do. That's what most reputable companies do. So basically, American Express is a fail-safe for the consumer. At least I found it to be, and I have yet to have a situation where they did not debit that merchant and credit me back for a transaction that was faulty, either by nature of a non-delivery of products or services, defective, things like that. And it's probably over the 37 years I probably have used them for going to bat for me and getting restitution for a problem. Maybe, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 times over 37 years. But every single time they've stepped up. And that's why I continue to use American Express. I don't want to sound like an American Express commercial, and I'm sure the other credit card companies would also do that. And I posted that on the Indiegogo comment section, and I've had several responses actually from other frustrated consumers that are in the same boat as me with this chair company that have thanked me and are going to try the same avenue to try to get refunded. And basically, if you think about it, the chair company, trying to get money out of them is literally the blood out of the turnip. But because the hosting company, Indiegogo, is constantly getting a flow of payments in, they're the logical ones. Not only are they responsible because they're hosting this company for problems of non-delivery of goods and services, in this case, the chair, but there's from an American Express standpoint, from a financial standpoint, they're the logical responsible party for getting it done because of the fact that the monies are constantly going in there from these different campaigns. So it makes it much easier for a credit card company to go after them. The credit card company really wouldn't have any recourse of the chair company, but because the billing, and I'm glad that this happened, the billing went directly to Indiegogo, and they're again constantly receiving funds. It makes them an easy restitution source in terms of them being debited and me credited. That hasn't happened yet. The case is still under, I just initiated it last week when I finally said enough was enough. I'm a pissed consumer. I'm not going to take it anymore. And, I was just irritated with the fact that these, and they get away with this. And there's a lot of consumers that are out there that are just having to put up with it because maybe they don't think their credit card companies can do anything. But I'm here to tell you that they can. There is a recourse for consumers. Just a refund of the $329. I put in going, and I want to go buy a new chair from some place where I can actually, probably physically touch the chair or see it. I'm not against ordering online, but this definitely points out some of the problems in online business transactions and I'm not saying that everything with Indiegogo is fraudulent or is going to have this kind of an experience. I'm just saying this particular case, it was not it wasn't a pleasant experience. And it was a breach of contract on their part. If you're contracting for a certain item to be delivered in a certain time frame and you pay that money up front, it's a contract. And they breached that contract by kicking the can down the road in terms of the delivery dates and the bereftness of their responses. What I'm after is I'm going to have to refund from them, and I'm just going to get a chair. And I've held off buying the chair because I was kind of unclear. Maybe the chair finally gets shipped, and I didn't want to get two chairs. So it's not that complicated. It's not that in the whole spectrum of life, it's a pretty mundane thing. It's just I paid money for a chair and I didn't get the chair. I want my money back and I'm going to get another chair. So it's pretty simple, actually. It's just one of those things that it's not a huge amount, but $329 is not an insignificant amount. But it speaks more to the principle of the matter and the the irresponsibility of Indiegogo, as well as the campaign company, which was neutral.